How are you?
Good,
Can
I'm
you hear me?
good. How are you? Yeah, I can
Good.
hear you.
So today we have an awesome photographer who's joining us from Shanghai, China. Brenda, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Guys, I'm Brenda. I'm from Taipei, Taiwan, and I've been in Shanghai for 3 years, almost 4 years now. Journal photos is one of my major. I started to play lomography 2006,
Wow.
and I choose to take this as my professional career in 2012 until now.
Hi, Raul. He's one of our photographers. Hi. Thank you for joining. Okay, so Brenda is in Shanghai, so she's officially in the future from pretty much everybody else joining here. And she would like to share a little bit of her experience during this crisis and pandemic, and share how is it going, how is Shanghai like feeling right now. We know that China slowly has been like reopening the economy there, so like share a little bit of that, of how it went and how it's like moving out of the pandemic, hopefully soon.
I think in Shanghai, everything is back to the normal as before. It's almost 99% back for working right now.
Wow. So
Yeah.
if you go, you can go outside and like live life normally like before, pretty much.
Yeah, definitely. I already saw someone take off their mask in the park already.
So do you see everybody still going out with their mask, gloves, or what's the equipment?
Most people still wear the mask. Yeah, but some people, if we are in the park, some people like jogging, they will take off their mask. Yeah, but last week I went to picnic with my friends. There's a lot of people in the park. Yeah, but they all brought their own tent, so they
Okay.
can have their own area in the park. Yeah.
So how does the tent
situation
work?
in China right now is?
How does the tent work? You actually have like a little tent around you in the park?
Yeah.
You
It's
should
like
share.
only 2 people can stay in the tent.
Do you feel comfortable right now, like going out like normal, or are you still a little bit afraid and anxious?
I would say I still wear the mask when I go out. I wear 2 layers. I feel comfortable to go out, but I think the situation right now that we still have to be care of the I think they will come back somehow in the winter.
You think it will, like, you think that there will be like a resurfacing of the virus later on?
As the news I saw every day, they say the virus will come back till the winter, maybe till
2021
2022. Yeah, 2022. I would say for precaution, still need to be careful.
Cool. So you were in quarantine for 30 days or a little bit over that? How many days?
My self-quarantine is 14 days. The quarantine days start at January 25th in China, when the news released talking about the virus spreading. Yeah, but I was back to Taipei for my Chinese New Year. So back at that time, Taipei is not asking for the quarantine. I was quarantined when I back to Shanghai at 5th February. So it's a 14 days quarantine.
I'm just using a VPN, so the connection is a little bit delayed on her end. How are you staying creative, or how did you stay creative through the quarantine time?
I like to visit the museum, but obviously it's not the time to visit museum. For now, inspiration of lighting and composition, especially the Rembrandt. His painting gave me a lot of lighting inspirations. Yeah.
If you log into the museum webpage right now, you can actually see all the paintings.
Online?
Yeah.
That's cool. So
Yeah,
they will be on my schedule next.
Yeah. So you should do it. What activities or things did you do at home to stay creative and like excited?
I will do some research about the things I'm interested in, like the Stranger Things on Netflix recently. I do watch their behind the scene videos before. They do research of how to make lighting as 80s as at a pre-production phase.
So what are you shooting with? Can you show us your camera gear?
I'm using Nikon D850 right now.
What lens is that one?
With 24-70. Yeah.
Who here is a Nikon user? You should like send us hearts if you're a Nikon user to the live. I am a new Sony user. I used to use Canon and now I turned into Sony. Have you tried the Sony cameras or you've always been a Nikon user?
I actually have one Sony for shooting my vlog videos. I like Sony for their the speed of the focus. Yeah, I can shoot videos on Nikon D850. So, but I think the color Canon maybe.
Yeah, Canon
maybe
has the
better.
best natural color.
I know. But I think the pixel, the Nikon is more higher, I think.
And the Sony too. I don't like about the Sony that the image is very digital. So sometimes when you're editing skin or portraits, it's harder. Like the Canon has a natural look. So now that you are like almost crossing the line of ending the pandemic, or like at least it's under control in Shanghai, what are some things that we can do to get out of there faster, like out of this faster? We know like staying home, but you mentioned something about the masks and like keeping that social distancing even in the parks.
Open all your windows and wash your hand regularly and wear the mask when you go out and keep the social distance between you and your friend or families. And don't open the air conditioning if your building is using the central air conditioning.
Oh, I didn't know that. We've seen pictures of like a lot of people on the street again, and it's really hard to keep that social distancing. So
yeah, yeah, that's true. So the news tell us to wear the mask if you can't keep the social distance. I saw the news today that Japan, they have a lot of people still need to go to work, so they go take the metro every day, so they don't have the social distance they can have because the subway is so crowded. So the best way is wear the mask and don't talk, don't eat on the subway.
Go from point A to point B as safe, wash your hands as many times as possible, and keep the windows open.
Yeah, wash hand is the most important.
Are people wearing gloves or not really?
I was wearing the gloves. I was wearing the winter gloves when I go out, and I will take them off and go wash them with the boiled water. Yeah, but at the beginning, some people wear the raining suits, and they wear the helmet and the glasses and the gloves, the whole body. They protect them the whole body.
How many languages do you speak? I've had it. Somebody's asking.
2. 2. Mandarin and English, and the English it's not so well.
You're doing an amazing job. I know you were nervous before we jumped in, but you're doing great.
Thank you.
Can you go from Shanghai to Beijing right now, or is that closed as well?
Yeah, one of my college classmates, she went to Beijing for her next job right now already. So she's in the quarantine right now because Beijing needs everyone in quarantine.
He is managing this differently because Shanghai is not in quarantine, but Beijing is.
I should say everyone, from the flight, from outside of Beijing, they need a quarantine. The people need to be quarantined. Yeah.
So if
Shanghai, I think it's also.
So if you go from Beijing to Shanghai, you have to stay in quarantine 15 days, and then you can go out in the city.
Yeah. So if I'm going to Beijing right now, I have to stay quarantine for 14 days. And if I'm back to Shanghai, I have to quarantine myself for another 14 days.
Are you allowed to quarantine in your home, or do you have to quarantine in a facility that they offer?
In Beijing, they have a place for the quarantine, and I think there are a few places you can choose. You can choose to stay in hotel. You can choose to stay in the living area, but you have to get the permission of the neighbors, everyone.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
How do you get that permission?
There's a community in the neighborhood. They will go ask the neighbors in your building. So everyone agrees that you can stay in the building, so you can stay.
And Taipei, how is your family in Taipei, like in Taiwan?
Yeah, they are good. Taipei is under control. So my family is they stay at home all the time. So I think they're fine. They are fine.
Yeah, thank you so much, Brenda. I know that this was outside of your comfort zone and you were a little nervous, but
yeah,
you did amazing.
So nervous.
No, you did great. It wasn't that bad, huh?
This is my first time for live stream, so I'm so nervous. But it's great. It's great to talk with you, Valerie, and thank you for having me here.
No, thank you. It was very insightful to learn what's happening on the other side of the world from a local perspective. So thank you so much for sharing how you're living this and how are things over there.
I hope I can visit you someday in Miami.
Yes, or us in Shanghai. I've never been, so I would love to go.
Come when the virus is finished.
It's over. Awesome. Thank you. Ciao.
Thank you, Valerie.